Hey y'all, Rabbit and Red Reviews here with another whiskey review. This is my second review, and today we are going to take a trip across the Atlantic to Scotland in the Isle of Islay to do a review of Ardbeg NoooOOOoo. So for those of you who don't know much about Ardbeg NoooOOOoo, it is a peated scotch from the island of Islay. This is the latest part of their core range. First addition to their core range, I think, in over a decade. It's a peated scotch, so it's definitely going to have some punch. Let's get right to it. So while we let that rest for a little bit more about the Ardbeg NoooOOOoo. The back of the label says, like the peninsula that shares its name, Ardbeg NoooOOOoo is particularly rounded, due in no small part to its time spent in the gathering vat. Here we marry together whiskey from several different casks, including new charred oak, PX sherry, which is Pedro Jimenez sherry, and first fill bourbon. Here they become fully familiar with each other. So that's the skivvy on the Ardbeg NoooOOOoo. This is bottled at 46.6%, so it's going to have a little heft to it, but it's a bit lower than other Ardbeg releases. I think the Ardbeg 10 comes in at 46%, but the other two parts of their core range, the Ardbeg Uigeadail and the Ardbeg Corryvreckan, are well above 50%. So we're going to give this a nose, palate, and finish review, and I will put it up in a series of 1 to 5 stars. So on the nose, you immediately get that peaty, smoky smell that you would expect from a peated scotch from Islay, and particularly from Ardbeg. Other peated scotches, and most notably things like Laphroaig, have a bit more of a sea air kind of marine quality to their peat. The Ardbegs tend to have same, but with a bit more earthy quality. So you get a little bit more like damp moss, damp wood type smell. Which is definitely what I'm picking up on the nose. Also definitely getting a little bit of hints of bourbon notes, so a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of caramel, which is definitely coming from that first fill bourbon that it's matured in. Also a little bit of fruit, getting some kind of red fruits, both dried red fruits and ripe red fruits. So definitely has those signature qualities you'd expect in an Ardbeg, but I will mark that it's a bit less punchy than other Ardbeg releases that I've had. So when you think about the 10, which really just hits you right in the face with the peat, it's got the peat there, but it's a little bit more subdued. Let's give it a taste. Right away, you get that peaty smoke kind of punch you in the face, which is to be expected. But it gives way pretty quickly. There's a sweetness to it, which is definitely coming from that Pedro Jimenez sherry cask. So you get fruit, you get some kind of ripe fruits and also dark fruits. Also picking up that peppery, definitely peppery, almost a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit more of that bourbon cask. I personally pick up the bourbon cask pretty profoundly on this, which I think you're getting the caramel, a little bit of the vanilla, things like that. The finish actually is remarkably short. I kind of notice it gives away pretty quick, and I think that does have to do with the fact that the the viscosity of this is actually a little bit lower than other Ardbegs. It just doesn't taste like it has that, full, long maturation, which is to be expected, I guess, to some degree, as there is no age statement on this. The palate itself, the mouthfeel, definitely is, it has some viscosity. It has a little bit of, pretty full mouthfeel, but it's definitely notably lighter. For those of you who have drank Ardbeg or other, heavily peated scotch before, that kind of full viscous mouthfeel that coats the mouth. This one actually gives away pretty quickly. It's a little bit lighter than the others. Let's go in for one more taste. Yeah, definitely picking up a little bit more of the wood and the oak the second time around. Also, those bourbon notes are still there. They're kind of in the background. The peat's moved aside a bit, and that sweetness from the Pedro Jimenez cask, with a little bit of fruit, is definitely picking up a little bit as well. Here's a little quick shot of the bottle itself. Pretty classic looking Ardbeg presentation here. Most of their bottles look very much similar. I know it's slightly different shape, but pretty much the same shape. And here's a little bit of the color. So it's a little darker than the regular Ardbeg, but it's got a nice color to it. Ardbeg is, one of the few distilleries that doesn't chill filter, and they don't add any color. So there's no E150A in this, which is a total plus for Ardbeg. I appreciate the fact that even as they get more popular and the demand for peated whiskey is getting higher, that they stick to the non-chill filtration and the non-coloring, keeping that free from chill filtration. It keeps a lot of the proteins and other fatty acids in here that gives it a little bit more flavor. So what to be said about this? This is a tough one. I'm not exactly sure where this falls in. For experienced Scotch drinkers who have a really, really good palate and love peat smoke and peated whiskey, this one I think might fall a little short for you. It maybe will disappoint with your expectations, especially considering that this has been almost, it's been years since they've added a new release to their standard lineup. I think there might be a little disappointment in this with the lack of, full flavor, and the way the finish kind of tapers off does leave a little bit to be desired. Conversely, for people who are new to peated whiskey, this actually might be a little bit too much. This is the kind of peated whiskey that it's definitely not one that I would describe as training wheels. For something like that, you might want to look at like a Chag, or other ones that just have faint hits of peat smoke, so you can kind of work your way into it and see if it's something you like. All in all, it's a quality dram. I can't really complain about the presentation here and what they've put to offer, but this isn't one that I think I would go out and purchase again. Right now in the United States, I think you can get this anywhere from like $60 to $70. When you compare that to the fact that you can still get a strong, great Ardbeg 10 for $40 to $50, I think I might pass on the NO, to be completely honest with you. So to put it on a rating, I can't go too low on it. I think I would give this a solid 3 out of 5 stars for the Ardbeg NO. It's good, but I'm just not quite sure where it fits in. I appreciate what they're trying to go for. Maybe they're trying to make it a little bit more of an introductory peated Scotch, but still, the peat is in your face, and I think this would still scare off new folks new to peated whiskey. And conversely, like I mentioned, for folks who really love a good peated Scotch, I think this one might disappoint you a little bit. So that's a wrap for whiskey review number 2. Hope to catch you all next time, and Sanche